In chapter 9, in this chapter we learn how to implement CRUD operations using Firebase as our backend. We learn how to add Firebase to our application, how to work with the Firebase database from the Firebase console, how to display a list of users, how to add a user with the push method, how to delete a user with the remove method, retrieve a single Firebase object to prepare our form for edit, and how to update a user. With this knowledge, you can move on and build more complicated enterprise level fully functional React applications of your own. So with our chapter 9 application, we have our app.js, where we have our imports, and then we have our class extended component, where we have our constructors, and we console.log Firebase, which is our backend. And then in the navigation bar of our app, we have React Bootstrap, we have home, we have add user, and we have users. We then have the routes for basically the edit, the add, the user, the home, and the not found component. And then we also have our class for home, where when you click home, this will be displayed, and then if you click and then if you have a path that doesn't exist, it will say not found. And then in our user.js, we also start by importing. So we have our imports, and then we have our user component, and then we construct our props, and then we also have this state where it has the user as an empty array, and then it doesn't show the delete dialog, and then it also has selected user that holds the current selected user for wherever you want to delete. Okay, with component.mount, we have firebase.database.ref, where we start by declaring an empty array, and then with the variable user, we retrieve each object. So we will retrieve each user, and then the user gets assigned a key property, and then when with return array.push, we push an object into the return array. So when a user clicks on user on the app, so it will have a key, and then it will show that user's username and that user's email. There will be an edit link where when you click on edit, it will fetch that user using that specific user key. So if it's 1, it will fetch you the object that is related to that user key. And then we have this on click for open delete that binds that user. So when you click on that user for when you want to remove, it basically calls this. So we have the show delete dialog where it's true, so it will show the delete dialog when it is selected, and then with the selected user, it will show that specific user that you want to delete. All right, and then our columns. So in that specific user, they will have columns for username, email, edit, and delete. So that will be that column, and then in the body it will list the users. So it will list the users that we currently have. So when you delete a user, it will ask you a message. It will pop up, are you sure you want to delete? So it will ask, are you sure you want to delete, and then it will display that specific user's username. And then with the button, this delete button, so when you click delete, it calls this one where it goes to the database and then checks for that selected user's key, and then when you click delete, it will delete that user, and then if it can't delete, it will pop up could not delete the user. And then when you click on add, so the add is when you want to add a new user. We have an add basically kind of like button where you click the add, it will take you, it basically calls this this route. So when you click add, it goes to the user form. So in the user form, the user will be prompted to enter their username and their email. Sorry. So if there's no email entered, it will pop up the message email required. And then if there's an email, it will check if the email meets the email criteria that we've set out. If it doesn't match that email criteria, it will say invalid email address. And then it will also check if the email length is not greater than 10. And then if it's, not less than 10. So if it's less than 10, it will say email address too short. It does the same thing with the username. If there's no username, it will say the username is required. And then if the username's length is less than 3, it will say username too short. And then when you submit, it will basically submit the username's value and the email's value, and then it will push it. So it will basically add it to our database and take you to the home page. So yeah, that's chapter 9.